This is the Banner Finance how-to video on creating change orders. FPA-CHAR, the change order form, is used to revise header, commodity, and accounting information on POs that have been completed, approved, and posted. There are a few things you cannot change. You cannot change the vendor, the currency code, the document type, meaning a standing order versus a regular order, and the document accounting indicator. You cannot change from commodity level accounting to document level accounting or vice versa. You can change the commodity quantities and prices. You can change the fopals, and you can change a few other attributes on the document. Once you enter your purchase order number, tab over to the change sequence number and type in next. And what the system will do is find the next available change order number for this particular purchase order. When you do a next block, you'll see a number of bits of information that would be helpful. You'll see what the current commodity and accounting totals are. You'll see if it's in suspense. You'll see if there's any text available to it. You'll see what the type is. You can change the buyer code if you want. Otherwise, you go to the next block. And each of the blocks are defined up here in the options as well. So if you want to go to one and you're not sure of the sequence, feel free to go to options and see what the different blocks are. But after you've looked at the basic header information, do a next block. Just go through in order. This is your requester information. If you need to change anything here, if you need to change anything on the ship to information, feel free to do so. On the next block, this is the vendor information. Now remember, you cannot change the vendor. However, you can change the address code and sequence number if appropriate. If you want to add a discount code, feel free to do that. When you do next block after the vendor information, the system takes you to the Purchase Order Item Selection Form, FPQ-CHAP. And what this does is allows you to decide whether or not you're going to change all items on this purchase order using this change order, or you can choose individual ones. In this case, we're just going to choose the mileage on line number 2. So you click on the select box in the second block, you do a save, and you notice that item has disappeared from the selection, and you exit this form. What happens is when you're on the commodity accounting part of FPA-CHAR, it shows you the item or items that you have selected. Please notice this is a document level accounting, so any change to this one commodity, it has to be reflected in the document as a total. You are able to add new commodities to this document if you want to by doing a insert record. In this case, we just want to modify what's already here. Changing the miles and the rate. So you see it was $40, it's now $46. This needs to be reflected down in the fopal as well. So we can do a next block to go down to the fopal section. In our situation, what we want to do is we want to change the fopal for the second item. What we'll do is we want to change the org code on here. You cannot delete a fopal, but what you can do is change the amount to 0 on an existing fopal, then do an insert new record, and assign the amount that you want to the new record. Now you'll notice that the amount changed. What happens is occasionally the system will attempt to redistribute. You'll notice this box is checked up here. The total commodity across the fopals based on the percentage that was there before. In this case, we want to charge the full mileage amount to the new fopal. The previous fopal we have zeroed out. Therefore, in order to make the document whole, we need to come in and update the amount on the original fopal. Now if we save this, you'll see that the total of all commodities is now equal to the total of the accounting information. So you can do next block to go to the completion, or you can just go to options and select the completion. Notice that the header, commodity, and accounting amounts all balance now. Go ahead and complete. We do have an NSF condition in this case. Either have to go to the appropriate authorities to get the budget money moved into the fopal that's over budget, which we see it's fopal sequence number 3, or we can just come in here, override the NSF condition, and to get the document completed, posted, and processed, and then go follow up on the NSF condition and get budget transferred in. Alright, in this case we can do a next block, go to completion, say yes, I want to save the changes I've made, and notice that the transaction is complete. The record was applied and been forwarded to posting. One thing I'd like to share with you, when you're searching for purchase orders, regardless of the form, when you click on the drop-down box and you enter a purchase order number and you execute the query, you'll see that there are numerous change sequence numbers, or can be. In many cases, you're going to see just one record for a purchase order, and the change sequence number is going to be blank. That is your purchase order, of course. However, once change orders are begun to be processed, each one is numbered from 1 until the highest number. You'll see a change sequence of 0. That is the original purchase order that was posted to the system. Then you'll see a number for each change number sequence. And remember, you cannot add a new sequence until the prior sequence was completed, approved, and actually posted to the system. There will still be a change sequence that is blank or null. What that is the combination of all of the original purchase order and all of the change orders applied. When you print the PO, if you recall, one of the choices was to do the original purchase order print or the current purchase order print. If you do the original purchase order print, it will use either sequence 0 if it exists, meaning that there are changes, or it will use the blank or null change sequence, which means all changes have been applied. So whereas the first PO had $40 for mileage, we made a change because of the number of miles and the rate, and it now has $46. So the current version will show the upgraded amount. It will also show you the current fopals that were assigned. If you recall, we went in and we changed the org code on one of the fopals on this document. So the original has the 0. Each of the changes has just that portion that did change, and the blank will have the current with all changes applied to the original. Thanks for watching.